What's good, everybody? It's your girl V, aka your favorite podcast host, aka your favorite YouTuber, aka your favorite girl, aka your favorite everything, because why not? But I am so blessed. Yesterday I celebrated my 31st birthday. I love that for me. I feel super blessed, super grateful. I feel so loved. Thank you to everybody that wished me a happy birthday. Thank you for everyone that showed me love. I really appreciate it. Every single one of y'all, like, I love you really, really bad. And I am just so grateful for each and every one of you. You don't know how much it means to me. Like, I'm soaking it all in. I have been taking my time just soaking it up, being 31, feeling blessed and healthy and feeling amazing. And I am snowed in, so I am in Dallas and we had snow and ice, and the weather, thank God I'm safe. I know it has affected a lot of people, with people having power outages, not getting any heat, and I just want to send prayers and love to them. I am very grateful that I am warm, I am safe, I am somewhere safe, and thank God that I'm able to just relax and still enjoy my birthday. But shout out to everyone who this weather has affected. I'm sending prayers out to you guys because this is no joke, okay? As a Midwesterner, I am from the Midwest, so I'm used to the cold. I'm used to the snow and the ice or whatever, but if you are familiar, I'm not gonna go too in detail, but Dallas is not equipped for like the Midwest weather. It is not equipped at all. So I just hope that everyone is safe. I'm praying for everyone and their families, because I know we had this a few years ago, I think in 2021 or 22, when people had like pipe bursting and they have freezing water, frozen water, ice in their homes. That is insane. A lot of people passed away because they couldn't stay warm in their house, so they were in their cars, or they didn't understand, or they didn't know anything about carbon monoxide poisoning, and it's super duper dangerous. A lot of people have passed away from that, so I'm sending love and prayers to you guys. If you know anybody that is affected, God bless you. Sending you all the love in the world. Today, I just wanted to do a random video about some things that I am grateful for as a 31-year-old woman, and things that I have learned in just life in general so far. And none of these are in any particular order. This is just a random schmandom video. I just felt it on my heart to do this, so yeah. So the first thing, and again, this is not in any particular order. So the first thing is peace. Peace is so valuable to me. It is a learned thing. Like, getting a level of peace is actually a skill. Like, when you prioritize your peace, it is quite literally a skill. You don't get this by accident. This is something that you acquire. So for me, I learned my peace and how important it is when things disturbed my peace. Once I realized certain boundaries I did not like, people overstepping boundaries, and how I felt like my nervous system was dysregulated, and how I did not feel appreciated or just listened to or respected. And so, the easy solution to me is to get rid of all those things that don't serve you, that disturb your peace. It really is that simple to me. I don't believe in complaining about anything anymore. Granted, do I get frustrated? Absolutely, because I am a human being. It is what it is. I don't fault myself for being frustrated. But just know that I'm going to have a plan in place, because I'm not going to be frustrated about the same thing over and over again. Just know that I'm going to come up with a plan. And the most beautiful thing about being a grown-ass woman, is you can make changes in your life. You don't have to deal with things. It really is that simple, y'all. It really is that simple. When people come to me, and although I'm very grateful that people come to me and they look for advice, or they want my opinion on things because they value my opinion, the things that I have to say, and they say that I'm very wise, and I really appreciate that. I do feel like I have a lot to learn, but that's a whole nother story. But when people come to me with certain problems, 90% of the time, I can honestly say safely, 99% of the time, you have the answer to your own question, or you have the answer to your own problem. If you are grown, listen to me. If you are a grown adult, especially a grown able-bodied adult, you can solve all your own problems. You can solve all of them. Prayer, talk to God about it. You have to choose your heart, and that's another thing. I feel like that's leading into a different conversation, but you have to choose your heart. People say, having kids and living this lifestyle, like having a job that I don't like, is so hard. And it's like, okay, well, your only other option is to do something about it. Granted, will it be hard to work a second job to save enough money so you can move across the country? Yes, but for a fact, If you stay in the same job, if you stay in the same position, nothing will change. So you need to pick your hard. You need to figure out what path that you need to take to get to where you need to go. Because whatever you are doing is not working, and that's okay. That's why it is important to recognize when something does not work for you, your family, whatever your situation, and realize you need to devise a plan to figure it out. I strongly suggest prayer. I love to pray. I love to journal whenever I get the opportunity to. Like, I will literally light a candle, have a glass of wine or some tea, play some quiet jazz music in the background, make it a romantic thing for myself, and I will journal. I will journal the life that I want to live. I will journal my situation being different. I will pray. I will fast. I will, just do whatever it takes to get that answer in my head. That answer is always very, very clear. And if you have a strong relationship with God, with Christ, or whatever you believe in, I'm telling you, you will hear a very loud and clear answer. Your answer is always there. Here's the thing, and I gotta give y'all this. Hear me out. Don't give your power away. It grinds my gears and here's the thing, I used to do this too. So this is not a judgment thing. This is just something that I learned, okay? And the reason why it grinds my gears is because a lot of us have dealt with things that we did not have to deal with. Full-blown control. Even if you don't feel like you have control over it, you absolutely do. Don't give your power away. Don't give your power away to somebody else or a situation, because what you are saying is that you are weaker than this thing. You are incapable of this thing. You are incapable of getting yourself out of the situation. When you put yourself in victimhood and say, oh, well, I can't, you're absolutely right. When you say you can't, you're right. When you say you can, you're right. Either way, you're right. Like, you selling yourself short by putting yourself in a state of victimhood where you cannot get out of your situation is not helping you in any way. Yes, circumstances can be bad. Yes, they can be detrimental. Yes, they can hinder, you know what I'm saying? They can slow down your growth if you allow it to. If you allow it to. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to your sister now. Listen to me. I know it's a lot to take in. But it doesn't take away the fact that your circumstances are valid. How you feel is valid. However, you are not helping yourself by saying that you cannot. And I'm not even giving you a motivational speech. I'm saying this because quite literally you are more powerful, strong, confident, wise than you give yourself credit for. I'm not even trying to give you a motivational speech. This is literally just coming from the heart. Stop giving your power away. Stop doing that. Oh, it grinds my gears when I hear people tell me like they can't do this and oh, you don't understand. Even if I'm not in your situation, I know one thing. I know that God does not fail. He will not fail you. If you lean on him, I'm telling you right now, if you believe that God is within you and he will not allow you to fail, there is no such thing as failure. There is absolutely no such thing, friend. And I am not telling you this to sell you a dream. I'm not even getting paid for this video. This is just me speaking from the heart. You are telling God that he is a liar. When he says that you can achieve all these things, when you can be all these things, and you tell him that you can't, you're saying that he's a liar. That's what you're doing. You're saying that he's a liar. You're not helping yourself. Listen, we can have a more in-depth conversation about that later on, but stop doing that. Value your peace. So once you start to value your peace and you realize the situation that you are in is no longer serving you or never served you, or it is uncomfortable for you and it's not a benefit to you, then you need to find your heart. You need to figure out your heart. I don't like my job. Okay. Do you want to go back to school? Okay. Well, a temporary hard, going back to school, starting that business that you want to start. Nobody said that it was going to be easy. Some people it might be easy. You know, maybe you one of them and it is easy for you. But the point is, you quite literally know if you stay where you are, your situation isn't going to change. So you're going to have to pick your heart. Coming up with excuses as to why you can't have a better life is up to you. The only person that you are affected by making excuses is you. I'm going to win. I don't care what you do. I'm telling you what I know. But you are only affecting yourself when you tell yourself that you can't win. It's not affecting me, honey, because I'm going to win regardless. But by telling yourself that you are incapable, you're affecting you and your legacy and your children and your family. Congratulations, you're failing yourself. But as for me, I know what I'm going to do, and I know what I'm telling you. Sweetie, I might tell a little jokey joke, but I ain't going to lie to you, friend. I ain't going to lie to you, friend. But, you know, it is a blessing to have that mindset. Mindset is pretty much everything. And I feel like this is kind of leading me into my other point is like mindset. You see, I can guarantee you see the way someone lives, it matches their mindset. Somebody that's always complaining, who, you know, oh, they say that things don't go their way. Their life literally reflects that. 100%. The next time you hear somebody complaining, I can guarantee you their life matches the fact that they complain all the time. Their life literally matches it. People who are winners, their life matches it. Like there's no, they go through the same things that the person who is, I don't even want to say losing because it's not even losing, but the person who is not where they need to be, they can go through the same thing. But they're going to live totally different lives because they both made a choice. They both made a choice. Mindset is absolutely, it's everything. It'll get you where you need to go. And it can also hinder you if you are not careful about the things that you focus on, where you put your mind, so you have to be careful about that. And I think that that is very important. I also think that, it's important to listen to yourself. It's important to put yourself first. I think that there is a negative connotation on being selfish. I do believe in being selfless in certain situations. I absolutely believe in showing up when things are inconvenient. And it also leads me to my next point. Friendships are so important to me. And I think that having a village is extremely important. Even if you're somebody that didn't grow up with a village, create your own village. Create it. Yes, it's going to be a little bit of work, but it's so worth it. And the reason why I say that I show up even when it's inconvenient, because I could be tired. I could have a few dollars to my name, whatever. But if I say I'm going to do something, I put my mind to it and I make sure that I show up. Unless I absolutely cannot. But one thing that I am super duper proud of is that my friends, the people that love me, can absolutely say V shows up for me. When I have an event, V shows up for me. When I have a birthday party, birthday dinner, when I'm sick, or I need some encouraging words, V is going to be there for me. That is something that I am absolutely proud of. And the village that I have, I was built brick by brick. And as much as I show up for them, they show up for me. And I am very, very grateful for that because I cultivated this. I love that so bad for me because it's amazing. Having a village is amazing. This is why it's so important to not show up when it's convenient, when it's fun, but also show up when it matters. I think that in a way, we absolutely do live in an individualistic society to where it's like, oh, I got to put me first. And, oh, I got to, put my well-being first, and I have to prioritize me. And absolutely, that is absolutely important. But you have to understand what it means to show up when it's inconvenient, and I think that's so important. I think that is a missing component when we talk about friendships. When I see stories of people falling out, usually these are people who shouldn't have been friends in the first place. When the girlies be like, oh, don't go to Miami because it'll ruin your friendship. Well, if all it takes is a trip to Miami, y'all were never friends. Y'all were never friends. It is one thing to bump heads because you are not going to always be on the same page as your friend. But like to have a full-blown fallout, to go to the point of like exposing each other on social media and putting each other's business out there, sweetheart, y'all were never friends in the beginning. Y'all were never friends from the jump. Y'all should never got past hello, period. And that's another thing. I feel the same way about relationships. So it's some situations where you look at it, you just like, how did this person even get past hello? Like, how did y'all even get to this point of even marrying each other, let alone even saying hi? You know, getting past one day. Oh, let me fix my bang. Y'all, your girl had tried a new color. I actually really like it. This is a wig. I really like this. But anyway, I think that, you know, cultivating healthy, beautiful friendships is such an amazing thing. I think that learning what your boundaries are, because it's easy to say, oh, set boundaries, but sometimes people just simply don't know. I know for me, I didn't even know. Like, yeah, I knew what a boundary was, but it's like, I didn't know what my boundary was. And I would overstep my own boundaries thinking like, oh, this is normal. Like, you should do X, Y, and Z. Like, for example, for me, I know when I'm overstimulated, and I used to try to like thug it out, you know, oh, I have to do this, or if somebody asks me to do this, I have to do it. And then the more I thought about it, it was just like, no, if I'm overstimulated and I know that I'm gonna be real mean, real nasty, honey, I'm just gonna exit stage left, because I don't want you to see me upset. You don't deserve it. This is my own personal thing that I'm just overstimulated. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. So I'm going to remove myself. I'm going to reel it back. I understand my own boundaries. I'm feeling overstimulated. I'm feeling like I am up here and I need to get back down here. And so I have to respect my own boundaries. Not only is it important for other people to respect your boundaries, but you have to respect your own boundaries. One of my biggest things was, you know, I don't really drink alcohol like that. I am not a huge drinker. I may drink one glass of wine if I'm going to an event, and I'll sip on it or whatever, maybe two if I'm feeling real good. But one of my biggest boundaries is people trying to force me to drink. I cannot stand it. I will remove myself. Absolutely. That's one of my boundaries. I used to give in all the time, and then I thought about it and I was just like, it's one thing for somebody to ask you a couple of times, like, oh, are you sure? But it's another thing to be like, oh, you need to drink, you need to do this, oh, you ain't having fun, blah, blah. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, I thank you for inviting me. Yeah, I'm not a drinker like that. So yeah, thank you for inviting me. And I will exit stage left. Yeah, you're not respecting my boundary. You're not listening to me. I'm not going to hold it against you. But I understand that in certain settings, I won't be associated. I know that, you know, if this happens again, there's a hard no for me to be around you anymore. Because, like, you know how sometimes people, when they don't know you, they're getting a feel for you the same way you're getting a feel for them. And so after that first time, and I can be around you and it's like you still pull that same miss, now it's like, okay, well, I just won't be around you, period. I gave you a pass the first time because you don't know me, you don't understand me, you know, whatever. But after that second time, and if that same thing occurs, I absolutely know, okay, you just don't respect my boundaries. And also, you have to assess you have to be able to assess situations. So sometimes when liquor is involved, some people are just having a ball and they're not thinking, they're not in their right mind, right? And so this isn't to give people a pass, but it's more so like, I know not to take it personally is what I'm trying to say. Taking things personally for me all the time is just a waste of time. And I'll get into that in a second. But it's more so like, okay, you don't know me, I don't know you. I can understand that the liquor was flowing. You probably was on your third shot and you not really realizing what you were doing. You were just having too much fun, okay? Now, if we're around each other a second time and you pull the same mess, now I know, okay, yeah, I'm no longer going to be around you. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to leave this event early. You get what I'm saying? And this isn't to say that you have to give somebody a second chance. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that is my boundary. I am comfortable. Hear me out. I am comfortable with getting a pass the first time, right? You don't know me, I don't know you. We're getting to know each other. I can recognize that you was having a ball. You was with the liquor, having a ball. But the second time we were around each other, yeah, okay, you're not the person that I want to be around anymore. I actually met someone like that. And the first time, oh, baby girl was having a ball. This was actually her launch event for her brand. And homegirl was, she was out of there. And I respectfully, like, I understand because she was around people that she loved and that she trusted. Most of the people that showed up were like longtime friends and, you know, people that she trusted, right? So she was wasted, okay? She wasn't stumbling, but homegirl was having a ball. And she was like offering me these drinks or whatever. And I just kept saying, no, thank you. And then after the party, I want to say like the next day, she was like, hey, I know that I had like a lot going on, and I just want to say, if I made you feel uncomfortable, I am so sorry. Like, I was just having too much fun. This is my first business. I did really, really well. I am so sorry, and it won't happen again. I respect that. And I never even told her that I felt uncomfortable. But I think that after the liquor had worn off, it was like, ooh, I was really acting like that. And I never had that issue with this girl ever again. Ever again. Okay? Never. So that's why I say, like, you don't necessarily have to give somebody a second chance, but you can recognize and assess the situation, not take it personal. Now, if they do something to you, then absolutely no more second chances. But something like that, I'm just like, I mean, there was other people there. She wasn't bothering me that much. Who cares? But yeah, I never had that issue with this person again, and she has great character. She's a really sweet woman. I really, really like her. But anyway, so I just think that, boundaries are super duper important to gaining a sense of wisdom, being able to listen instead of talk as much. Listen, I don't know the numbers, but I know that listening is more communication than talking. I want to say listening is like 70% of communication. And so it's like listening to certain cues, just listening to the context of what someone is saying, reading facial expressions and body language is super duper important. And so I don't trust people who talk more than they listen. I can tell right off the bat someone who is listening to respond versus listening to understand. I don't even waste my time, y'all. I used to try to understand people and be like, oh, well, they just talk because people don't understand them. Well, they don't even understand themselves because they're too busy running their mouth. They don't even know what's going on. So that's another thing too, is like you have to be cautious of the people that you are around, because people who don't listen, people who listen to respond or are combative or who can't take constructive criticism, or they can do no wrong, you can't address anything with them, that ain't your real friend. You shouldn't even be around them because they're confrontational. They are someone that is not going to see the bigger picture. They're going to be a detriment to you, because anybody that talks more than they listen is a very dangerous person, in my humble opinion. Because what exactly are you rambling about? If you're not even listening, what on earth are you even talking about? You doing all of this, but nothing is going on up here. And then also, people telling themselves all the time, y'all. So if you listen to somebody talk long enough, they will quite literally tell themselves every single time. I remember, y'all. So there was this one girl. She was actually a friend of one of my friends, and she was saying how it was something along the lines of like, yeah, she's not around people that do drugs and, do X, Y, and Z, whoop, 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 whoop. And I was like, yeah, me too, girl. Like, certain things I don't indulge in, that's just not my lane, and I'm straight. Like, I'm good. And then within the next sentence, she offered me some D-rugs. I ain't gonna say what it was, but she offered me something that should only be prescription. Right? And I'm not talking about over the counter. I'm talking about like you need a doctor's note. You need I think you have to sign like a waiver for it. Were you talking about yourself when you were saying that you don't talk to people who offer people drugs? Were you talking about yourself? I think you were talking about yourself. What is it called? A Freudian slip? When people say certain things and they subconsciously say it, or unconsciously say it, not realizing that they're telling on themselves. I don't know if I'm actually explaining it correctly, but it's called a Freudian slip, where they basically tell themselves, long story short. And so I was just like, okay. And this is why it's important to listen more than you. That's why somebody had asked me before, would I ever do a debate on my podcast? And I am not against it. I am not against having someone on my platform that has an opposing thought process. Sorry, y'all, my camera had cut off for a second. But what I was saying was, like, I'm not against anybody having an opposing view as me on my platform, but I will absolutely vet the crap out of them, because my thing is, I've seen so many debates, so many opposing opinions on different platforms of like podcasts, and the way that people get so disrespectful just because somebody doesn't agree with them is so scary to me. And just to protect my peace, like I told y'all earlier, I just won't indulge. I just won't engage. That is not my lane. Being stressed, having an overworked nervous system is not. Keep it away from me. I don't like it. That is a boundary for me. And what am I against it? No, because I feel like, there's nothing wrong with having an opposing view. I think that you learn so much from other people by listening to them. And why they believe the things that they believe. Even if I don't believe it, I can understand it, right? Like, you may not believe in or agree with someone's lifestyle or how they do things, but once you get an understanding of them, you understand why they believe the things that they believe. And it's like, oh, okay, I understand you better. This makes sense. I still don't agree with it, and that's okay, but I get it. Like, it makes so much sense why you believe X, Y, and Z. So yeah, so that's why it's so important to listen. It is so important to listen. It's so important to have bigger ears than a bigger mouth. And so I love that. I love to listen. I love to, I might not be the best listener in the world, but I try my best. I will say that. I will try my best to listen to you. There is nothing more annoying to me than someone who talks more than they listen. I have worked with quite a few people that were like that. And it's just like, you don't listen at all, do you? You can tell when people like to hear themselves talk or they don't get the opportunity to talk enough, because they will talk about absolutely nothing. They will talk about nothing just to hear themselves like speak. But I just think that, hopefully y'all get a better understanding of the things that I've learned. Some of the most important things that I've learned in 31 years so far. I feel super blessed, you guys. I just love y'all so much. Tell me if you want a part 2. I would love to do a part 2. This was so random, y'all. Nothing was in a particular order. I did not have anything written down, nothing. This was right off the top of the dome, okay? So if you love your girl enough, please hit that subscribe button, like, and comment, and follow your girl on Instagram, TikTok, Lemonade at LoveVeeTalks. And if you want to collaborate, or if you're needing some promo, LoveVeeTalks at gmail.com. Until next time, I love y'all. Bye.